If you guys want one-on-one training, online training, or nutritional coaching, please head on over to my website, jpfitnesspro.com. Just go to the services tab and select which one you would like. You can also subscribe to my newsletter and contact me through my website as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks. What is up, you guys? JP here, coming at you with another video from this sort of angle. When I do these face camera videos, I'm going to be sure to include some clips of the exercises themselves or demonstrate what I'm talking about in the actual exercise, so you guys don't just get a boring video of me talking. And then I'll try to keep these ones specifically shorter. Today's video is going to be about one good benefit of range of motion or full range of motion that a lot of people kind of ignore. And when you don't use full range of motion, you're kind of missing out on this aspect of using a full range of motion. And this regards the stretch reflex. Another term that might be used or you might have heard is bottoming out in like a squat. It's good to bottom out during a squat. Now, let me kind of go over this concept. When you use a full range of motion during an exercise, some specific exercises that come into mind are 1, the squat, and 2, the pull-up, or any type of vertical pull. These two exercises showcase the concept of what I'm trying to talk about a lot. For example, let's just take the squat. Everyone's range of motion is going to be different in a squat. My range of motion is going to be different from your range of motion. But whatever range of motion you do, that's going to be based on, limb lengths. It's going to be based off hip structure. It's going to be based off how wide your stance is. But even if you take a wider stance, your bottoming out position, the very lowest you can go, is going to be different than someone who has a different hip structure and short femurs. Their bottoming out position might be ass to grass, where their calves touch their hamstrings. But regardless, everyone has a bottom out position in their squat, for example. Now, when you cut range of motion short, let's just say you don't bottom out, you don't go all the way to as low as you can get, you're not getting that full advantage of the stretch reflex from the stretch shortening cycle. When you go to this bottom out position, as in a squat, you are putting your ligaments and tendons on the largest stretch that it's going to get in that position that you're in. Again, that might be different from everyone else. So when you're not doing this, you're not getting full advantage of that stretch reflex, and you're not going to be able to have as much drive out of the hole like in a squat, which means you're not going to be able to lift as much weight. So basically, when you don't bottom out and you just stop just short of bottoming out, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because you're not taking full advantage of that stretch shortening reflex. Now, one thing to know is if you cut your range of motion really short, like really, really, really short, you might not be taking advantage of the stretch shortening reflex, but because you haven't got past that biomechanically disadvantageous position in the squat, it's still going to be easier. But assuming you're not cutting your squat ridiculously short of range of motion, like quarter squatting, if you're one of those people who goes right to parallel or right above parallel, let's just say right above parallel, going that little bit lower and bottoming out is going to might actually help you in the long run, because 1, you'll be taking advantage of the stretch shortening reflex. 2, you're going to get better at using the stretch shortening reflex because you do it more often. And 3, there's more technical work being done, because work is force times displacement. Displacement just means the distance that you're moving the load. So obviously the load on the bar is not going to change, and you have to provide the same amount of force to move the bar. So when you're getting more work done, I would definitely argue that if your main goal is hypertrophy and you're using a larger range of motion, you're going to be getting a greater benefit there, because again, taking advantage of the stretch shortening cycle or the stretch reflex, you're going to be able to lift more weight with more displacement means more gains in the long run. So this is going to benefit everyone. You can see this same concept in a squat, but you can also see this same concept during a pull-up. If you see the pull-up that I'm doing here, you can see that I'm using a full range of motion. When you use a full range of motion like this, that last little bit at the bottom, you can feel that your limbs are obviously lengthening, but you can feel your ligaments and tendons stretching, so that when you come straight out of that bottom position to the concentric portion of the lift, it's going to feel almost like, even if you don't kip, you don't have to kip, you don't have to cheat, you're just a regular perfect pull-up, you're going to feel like you're kind of slingshotting out the bottom. Now, if you do this yourself, 1 full range of motion pull-up, and then you take a pull-up
almost full range of motion. You stop right before the bottom. Before you get that little stretch, it's going to feel like it's almost harder. Like you're kind of almost like doing it from a dead stop. You're making it harder on yourself. You're having to use your musculature to reverse the movement. Whereas when you go all the way to the bottom, you're using your musculature, but you're using your musculature, but you're also using your ligaments, your tendons, and your joints to help you do that in a good way. Again, I'm not saying slam to the bottom. I'm not saying using bad form, but you're just taking advantage of one of the mechanics that our body has, and that's the stretch reflex. So if you guys want to make greater strength gains over the long run, if you guys want higher specificity, if you guys want to move more weight, I recommend not cutting yourself short on the range of motion, because you're not going to be taking advantage of that stretch reflex, and that's going to hurt you more in the long run. If you guys have any questions, comments, please post them down below. I'll see you guys in the next video.